actually incredible. Like an actually incredible, amazing experience. What? This game completely blindsided me, Octoposse. We came for the kinky, we stayed for the plot. First off, another game made by one dev that was so involved. It was actually pretty sprawling with its story and its gameplay and the stages that you were in. I really like the fact that it started you off as kind of this anime girl who will encounter, you know, these iconic ghost enemies that you know, Sadako and then Hanako from the toilet, right? And then after that introduction, it slowly unravels itself as more of a Metal Gear Solid experience. Not really with the stealth, but with the whole story. The best things about this game are the story, as well as the cinematography, the way everything is paced. This is a short game, 3 to 4 hours. The story went from, exorcising to political intrigue with the context of you being part of this Spiritual Affairs Bureau. And it's so clever how they used these spiritual things like exorcism, shrine maidens, ghosts, spirits, and wrapped it up in a very militaristic political story. How? Funny enough, there's one game that reminds me of this, and I already mentioned it earlier. You heard me, right? Playing this game feels like I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. That's what I was thinking the whole time. This $10 game by one person was giving me shades of, you know, Big Boss in Phantom Pain with all the scenes and the cinematography. It's so good. Yeah, it's like Jujutsu Kaisen, Metal Gear Solid, wrapped up into one neat little package. There's just so much to be said about how everything here in this game was framed. Like, the conversations were not just conversations. They weren't just there, you know, to give you context about what you're doing, right? They had different camera angles. They had cool pacing, amazing music to match the cinematography, and then the characters were actually interesting. I actually cared about the characters. The writing is good. I'm pretty sure the Japanese writing is good, but we play the game in English, and apparently there are English localizers, and the English localization is very smart. It's so smart. It's actually fun to just read and play the game and just read the lines. They're very fun. Seemingly throwaway characters like the Shrine Maidens had just very short backstories and moments, especially the Shrine Maiden where she was cooking the food, right? She was cooking the stew. And then she talked about how this place that they've made is her home, not her hometown or anything like that. And when that was happening, the camera angles just made you feel like it was a very personal moment, a very intimate moment, right? And then later on in the story, you get a cheesy line delivery that's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, the stew is done." The stew is done. Yeah, let's enjoy it after this. You know? The graphics are pretty much, I mean, it's a $10 game made by one guy with pre-made assets from multiple different sources. But whatever is here, it looks really freaking good. It's not like AAA, of course. It's not AAA, but it's all very consistent. Even if there's militaristic weapons and ghosts, you know, there are a lot of visual flares. They got a film grain. They got night vision. The lighting on the ghosts was very contrasty and bright compared to the dark backgrounds and everything like that. The stealth section where you were underneath a night sky with a bunch of buildings. It was really nice. Yeah, and there was a moment there, like we were talking about the City Hall spirit invasion, where it was a very dire, hopeless situation. The tension was really high. Yeah, there's a lot of heart. A lot of heart was put into the game. The only thing I can knock about this game is probably the gameplay. The gameplay is pretty much third-person shooter type of gameplay. And it makes sense that the gameplay is pretty janky. It's very janky. It's very simple. What I do appreciate, though, is how good the guns feel. And apparently, you said, right, Noto Moteki, the developer, is a military nut. So he probably knows his way around guns and what they feel like. And someone mentioned earlier that the sound design of the guns was really nice. The way the bullets came from the barrel instead of from the head, which makes things a little bit more realistic. So even if it's janky AF, it felt very authentic still. And still pretty much interesting the whole way through. I want to support this guy, No Tomoteki. And I want to find more games from developers like this that can just can put like prefab assets into a game world, then create an interesting story and just roll with it. Yeah, the sniper rifle specifically had a little ting when you shoot. Even the silenced like pistol, when you shot it, you do a headshot and it's like, that feels good. It feels really good. I mean, I'm sure he has a lot of know-how when it comes to making games probably, and making game worlds and mechanics and stuff like that. But just seeing this, how this game is made, and seeing, the bones that made it, kind of makes me feel like I can do it myself. This game made me cry on multiple occasions, both out of sadness and laughter. Yes! It just has this raw feeling to it. It's just raw. You just feel like the dev just really had a good time making it. He just put all his ideas. He just put his heart into this. Put all his ideas into it exactly the way he wanted it. It was in a nice 3-4 hour package. And I just felt good. It just feels good playing it.